Watch this.
What up, everybody? It's Big Jonas here. There you are. Here I am. Let me get this settled up just a little bit. I want to come do a little live update with you on what I'm seeing in the Bitcoin price action here. You know, we've had some pretty interesting volatile wicks. The past couple hours here, we had a high, we had a lower high, we had a higher low, we had a lower low. Now Bitcoin is trying to crawl just a little higher here. I'm still looking for a little short in this area here. I'm in a very small short position here, just seeing if this previous area here of resistance is gonna hold. Basically, the 87.75 to 87.80 area. We got rejected on it multiple times. We were able to blow through it in this hourly candle we had several hours ago. And ever since then, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 or 6 green hour, if you will, of Bitcoin price action. So I'm kind of looking for a short in this area here. If this zone continues to be resistance, it's not the best looking opportunity here, just because we're getting so much volatility in these really short time frames here. It's hard to have a bias one way or the other for very long, and most of these trades are just scalp trades. But basically, you got to kind of get in and get out, because these basically don't last very long, these opportunities and whatnot. So that's kind of the bias I'm kind of working on right now. If I'm seeing opportunities here, I basically are going to take advantage of them, and otherwise it's kind of you know stay on the sidelines until there's more clarity in the market. The biggest thing I keep watching here from our, let me go to the 4 hour, I guess you could say, um, is still this retracement that we are still in from this end of October push here. Now I'm on Coinbase here. Coinbase did get higher up to the $10,600 area, just about 10.5 on its upper wick here. Other exchanges were a little bit lower. So that being said, we are still in the around 55% retracement, from the highs of that bullish wick, and that we still have yet to touch our golden pocket here, which would be basically a break of the 85.50 area. Looks like we got as low as around 85.70s. Potentially it front ran, the people that were waiting to pick up positions once the 61.8 retrace was achieved. But for now, we're basically holding the zone here where the 55 is acting as a little bit of resistance still, and not really that support. Of course, the ideal pullback here would be to get us potentially something in the golden pocket range. It is notable from a horizontal standpoint here. We can see we're still hovering about this area of major resistance here. Bitcoin had a major resistance right there. I'll make that guy red. Um, Still slightly being held here as support. So that's why, if I am looking for shorts here, it's nothing huge. This is notable that we basically are still holding above this area of resistance, still acting as support. This can still be a price flip from bearish to bullish, and then holding that bullish posture. If we start to put candles 4 hours, 1 hour, 6 hours, even daily candles breaking below this area, below the 86, below the $8,500 area, that would basically mean that we have lost this area of resistance, still acting as support. The fact that we basically tested it the first time here on November 8th, had a nice little bounce here, about $300, gave that back, put in a lower low, and then today's price action, another lower low there. But for now, it is holding on, oscillators across the board, pretty much in the mid range there. The 4 hour, the hourly, we're kind of hovering in the mid range here of our RSIs, of our stochastics, of our CMFs, which are still kind of on the down there. Overall, our daily chart, we're still kind of in the below 50 on our RSI here, but we are still holding above. This previous area of RSI resistance and now still acting as support, definitely not having that touch yet. Daily Stoke is down towards the bottom here, and CMF is still below zero line, although definitely trying to point higher here and come up. You can clearly see there's a decent channel here of resistance, about right there. Resistance on the upper line and support on our middle line here. And once again, that middle line is actually still holding, as we can see there. And if it does continue to hold that upper range there, to get up to that upper range there, which will actually put the CMF above the zero line, is still that possibility. Daily MACD still in a negative histogram. Indicators are still in that bearish cross. However, they are both still above the zero line with a little bit more running room here. But as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're in our 5th day of a bearish histo here, even though we are keeping our indicators a little bit higher. Let's take a look at some other indicators, if you may. EMA 12, EMA 26, we're still in the bullish cross here. I'm kind of hide our price action so you can just see my EMAs. These are my EMAs that I personally like to use. EMA 12, EMA 26. It's a little light here. They're kind of my go-tos on all time frames. And as you can see, we are still in that bullish stance, but you can see the price in this morning's little pump did get rejected below the EMA 26 here, and that was just about 88.78 or so. So we are still finding that resistance. However, the daily candle itself, we're looking for some kind of a bullish reversal. Maybe it's going to be a little spinning top doji here. If it closes, of course, on the upper range above 88.50, we could be looking at something better, more of like a bottoming hammer. Still early to say, just not seeing that yet. Still got about 4.5 hours left in the day to complete this particular candle. We can see Ichimoku, we are still below our cloud. This was basically has been resistance. Look at this. Look how accurate this cloud lower span of resistance has been. Every time we get up into it intraday, we do get rejected at it. And as you can see, it is resistance up to about $8,800 here, as our red cloud is definitely expanded here with not really that much of a tightening. We are still finding Tenkan-sen and Kaijin-sen resistance. Also note that my cloud settings are slightly different, 20, 60, 120, 30. Those are my preferred cloud settings, the ones I like to use the most. Looking at our moving averages, our MAs, look at MA 50 support here. We are still holding that MA 50 support. I guess I could just use that guy there, right? So that's good, but we are still getting that MA 200 resistance here. Remember, after our, I'll call it a death cross. I don't care, right here, and this very similar did happen way back here in 2018. Oops, that's too far. There we go. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Right here, where we did have the death cross, 50 under the 200, under a rising 200 note, there was our bearish break. Then we had a lot of bullish price action, right? And this move brought Bitcoin price action up almost 50% after this death cross, only to form a lower high and then continue to form lower lows. We fast forward to today, and what do we have here? Well, we have the death cross. Then we had a pump of drum roll, please. 44%. So very similar to what happened last time. It did mark the local high there, and ever since then we basically found that as that resistance. So very much similarities are still playing out from that November of 2018 price action that basically is still in play here. Really until proven otherwise. I mean, there, we talk about fractals and whatnot. This is still definitely a fractal that is playing out when these moving averages did cross. We are also seeing the MA 100 continue to be resistance here on these wicks. We can see several wicks here. Price action can't get above that as well. And we can also see that we're getting very close here to another bearish cross of our MA 100 going below our MA 200. Not sure if that has a specific name to it or not, but you can definitely see that it is lining up for that to play out here. So MA50 support, MA200 resistance, MA100 resistance, and that is notable. Let's see, what else can we look at here? This is our TD count here on the daily. Um, Trying to find a bullish price flip here. We are still forming up a green one. 1, 2, 3, 4. This will remain a green one as long as we can close above 87.66-ish. As you can see, we are just right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the cross there. If we close below here, this green one will actually be a red 6, and potentially suggesting several more days of bearish price action until we can actually find potentially any kind of a reversal on the 9 candle there. Still early in our counts as well. We're still on a red 5 on the 2-day. And a red 3 on the 3-day. I do like these lower wicks here, though. They're not necessarily the tweezers to me yet because we did put in that lower low. But you can clearly see the market is still trying to support this up, and there are buyers in the $8,600 to below region here. We basically see this on 3 consecutive candles here, even though there aren't many people that are prepared to hold when that price action does get to a higher position there. So, in the short term here, I'm looking for just a little bit of a short price action here. We were a little overbought on some of our lower time frame indicators. I was watching my 15-minute stochastic here. We're actually doing a second run around here of the upper area above 90. Remember, I do change my settings in my stoke to represent a little more conservatism. I have them set to 90-10. The defaults are 80-20. And I have my RSI set to 80-20. The defaults are 70-30. So kind of prevents me from FOMOing into any kind of price action there. If I see that the stoke is really topped off in that area there, I'll basically prevents me from taking a long. And if we're down the bottom area there, then I would basically consider a long over a short. So because we're in this top off area of our stoke on the 15, on the 30, on the 45, and the hourly still has a little bit more running room there. At this point, on just the low time frames, looking for some short price action versus some long there. If we did get one more upper wick here, one more push higher here, again, I'd be looking to short that, because what's been very consistent with this Bitcoin price action is every time we tend to get this up thrust, up thrust, up thrust, up thrust, these are shorting opportunities. And basically every time we get these very longer bearish candles here, especially the second one here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, that tends to be for at least a temporarily longing relief in the price action there. I want to go to the weekly here. We're still early in the week. I'm really not going to look at the candle too much more than just where we are in the overall price action. I did want to, let's clean that up. Let's clean that up. Just talk about Fibonacci's from a more of a grander scale here. Bitcoin 20K, Bitcoin 3K. We came all the way back down here. Okay. We climbed all the way up. We found resistance exactly in the golden pocket, okay, between 61.8 and 65% up the hill, up the mountain. And then ever since then, what has been very clear is we're finding consistent resistance on these base camps that were acting as support. So you see our wick out here on, when is this, August 5th candle was just below the 55. Okay, we did find support for quite some time here on the 38 at around 9,500. See all this support here? Nice support, 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 support. So we're like, all right, 38's holding as base camp. Then it breaks. We don't actually get as low as the 23. That's down at 7,100. And we had this very nice candle that shot up. And what happened when it shot up? It found closing candle on the week resistance right under the 3A2. So I think that's very notable that literally to the penny, the weekly candle closed just below the 3A2. The follow up on the next week, the last week of October, as you can see, found Bitcoin price action again, unable to get above it there. And then the third follow up on the first week of November, look where it wicked out like to the penny there. The high was right at the 382. So we're still finding resistance on the 382 where it was support. And because of that, am I then targeting my 236, which again is around $7,100, and has yet to be basically tested as meaningful support until proven otherwise. So this is a way that from a Fibonacci um, retracement and then extension from heading from top of the mountain to the bottom and then trying to get back up to Bitcoin all-time highs, this is a way to look at this. And this is still the bullish chart here. This is still the bullish chart in the sense that we are still targeting all-time highs and we are setting our base, our summit, our 100 basically at that area. But let's look at this from a different perspective here. Let's look at this from the perspective of just this year's price action. And it's the same deal here where we're basically starting from top and we're retracing down to the bottom there. And what is this really telling us as well? Well, it's kind of a similar story here. Our summit is now at 13.8. We did find support for a while here on the 55. We found resistance on the 78. Okay, we were basically hovering around the golden pocket area for quite a while. We came down and we found support just basically at the 382. I'll basically say that was a hit right there, just a hair under, but really just right there at the 382. Why do we have a nice bounce there? It's because we hit basically the 382 of support, bounced up, got wicked again at the golden pocket. As you can see, this week's price action, we are still now below the 55. So we're looking at this basically as resistance. Now, again, this is the bullish fib on this particular price action as we're still trying to climb back up the mountain and target the 2019 all-time high, which is still up here at 13.8. Now we can look at this from a pure retracement standpoint, where I'm basically going to take the fib from the low to the high, and we're basically seeing as the overall retrace from up to down there. Now, as you can see, the end of October price action just got a little bit above the 61.8. It was definitely a nice juicy area of support, and the market kind of front ran just a little bit there, came back up, but again we're finding the 382 as resistance here. Ideally 72 to as low as $6,800 would be our golden pocket retrace and still have a very bullish consolidation here of our price action, because what pattern are we consistently putting in here? In our price action here, it's still this more or less kind of a falling wedge here, right? I'm kind of ignore the wicks here and just stick to our candle bodies, right there, right there. Basically like that, and we're still holding this falling wedge, which we're getting tighter and tighter. And now another test of our lower wedge support would put anything between those areas that we were talking about, the low 7Ks, the high 6Ks, somewhere in that area. Only with a breakthrough of this resistance line, we might need to get some sort of a little back test here. Make that red. And make that red. And if that does hold, okay, basically the breakout, there would be the back test, and then we can find that continuation there. That would be the most ideal bullish scenario, to get that break of this resistance, followed by a slight retrace to basically confirm that area of resistance is now support, and then be able to push the price higher there. Just not seeing that right yet. We are still flagging too, if you will, on this push here in Bitcoin price action. You can see, do a channel here. There's our channel. Lower highs, lower lows. Those are still consistent in our price action there. Okay, so we're still flagging. We're still slightly above the golden pocket from the retrace of this candle we had here in October. As you can see, overall, it's hard to be very bullish on this price action as we're still coming back. We've still given back more than 50% of our yearly highs here. And the key things that I want to continue to look at, from a pure horizontal standpoint here, is as you can see where we are right now was major resistance. This $8,500 area here back in July of 2018. So basically, we were unable to hold the support here at just above 10K. There was our resistance here. Now we're just holding support above this next wick out area, $8,500. And if this fails, the next horizontal that we'd be looking at is once again back to the $7,400 area that did act as resistance, support, now still support once again here. So we are holding these higher lows, but we're definitely putting in these lower highs here, and that is definitely significant when we're seeing that play out there. Guys, remember to give me that thumbs up if you're enjoying my content here on YouTube. Remember to hit that follow button as well, Chonas Trading. Remember to follow me on Twitter as well, Big Chonas. If you guys are interested in doing some leverage trading, I got my affiliate codes as well on here through dudex.com/Big Chonas. Also, remember to check out my good buddy Big Cheds. He's at Big Cheds on Twitter. Cheds Trading on YouTube does great work. And thank you guys for joining us in our fireside chat we did like yesterday evening. Always good to have those with my buddy Big Cheds, Funky Bad Chad, Jeanette Crypto, Crypto Trucker, Diago Navis, Cypher Funk. Hey, there's Chad. What's up, buddy? SS Swartz 88. Thank you all for hanging out with me in the chat room here. And I did want to look at a couple other things here. Just real quick, I can take a look at where am I looking here? Let's go to main. Bitcoin dominance. So Bitcoin dominance is very interesting. We've definitely seen altcoins hold up a little bit better in Bitcoin's price action. I think it's very interesting here that we had this nice little move here in Bitcoin dominance a couple weeks ago when Bitcoin actually had that nice pump. But as you can see, we've given almost all that back right there. And I do like this lower wick here. We basically had the volatility in the price action. Dominance fell. I think this is today's price action, right? Yeah, look at this daily. This is very interesting here. This might hold. This actually might hold in Bitcoin here, where we're basically seeing dominance of Bitcoin, this whole pullback, but just trying to hold at the 786 pullback of this bullish move here, has also basically been holding up more or less a little bit better than Bitcoin has. The big question is if Bitcoin does decide to pump, how will the alts be reflected by that? Will they ride that pump with Bitcoin, or will they actually see money flowing out of the altcoins and into the Bitcoin pump? And of course, if Bitcoin dumps, is it going to take the altcoin market with it? So far, the Bitcoin bearishness has not taken the altcoin market with it. Bitcoin goes down. As you can see, the dominance has dropped as well, so the altcoins have actually been holding up a little better. But I'm curious to see how this daily candle on the Bitcoin dominance does finally, end up in the price action here. So just a quick recap of what I'm seeing here. I'm still looking for a little bit of a shorts here in the short term here. Daily candle here is definitely interesting. It could be a bullish, spinning top here. It could be a bottom hammer if we were able to close towards the higher end of our daily range. But for now, we're just stuck in the middle. I do want to bring up, just to close out here, a very nice Heikinashis. This is our daily Heikinashis. Still no, candles that are showing we're getting very tightening for a change or getting any kind of a reversal just yet in the candle bodies. Go to a higher time frame, a 3-day. basically the same thing in the weekly as well. Last week we did have this closeout. Wasn't the tightest doji here, but definitely much more of a reversal candle compared to the previous two, which would be a reversal from the nearest trend, which was bullish, which would mean the follow-up candle this week would be a bearish follow-up candle. So far that is playing out. We just don't know how long this will actually range out here. So that's kind of the Heikinashi. I only like to use it on higher time frames. Lower time frames get a lot of mixed signals as well. So it's basically what I'm looking at in the price action here. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today, as well as you, Free Soul Park. Thank you, sir. I be sure, much appreciate your support as well. Remember to hit that thumbs up button if you enjoy my content here. As I said before, I like to keep doing these YouTube shows a couple times a week, just when I get some time here, just to kind of share my thoughts of the overall market. Again, this is a very important area to hold support. We ideally want to hold and continue to hold in this area of what was resistance, turn support, tested as support a couple times here, and is still just holding with these lower wicks here. And then potentially we can still climb a little bit higher. Overall, I'm not basically sold on this as being, the bottom of this retrace just yet. When will it be the bottom of this retrace? When will I get more bullish? Really, is we got to get back above this cluster of resistance here. We were ranging here for such a long time, basically. $9,250 to $9,500. I remember some people were able to get us really nice shorts up in this $9,500 area, this upper wick here, and ever since then we've been putting in these lower highs. So if Bitcoin is able to get some price action back above $9,500, it would actually be a very bullish sign here, in my opinion. But we're just not there yet. We're still finding a struggle for Bitcoin just to get back over 9K. And we've had all the time in the world to buy over 9K. Now we have all the time in the world to buy under 9K, but the high, mid to high 8Ks. So this is where I'm seeing at the market. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. This is Tuesday, November 12th, 2019. This is Big Jonas coming with you live. Remember to hit that thumbs up button. Much enjoyed hanging out with you guys. Until next time, this is Big Jonas. We'll see you soon. Peace.